Have you ever wanted to know what it would be like to build a fast-growing AI startup? Better question. Have you ever wanted to know what it would be like to sell a fast-growing AI startup? Well, lucky for you, I've got a story to tell. That's right, in the last 6 months since I posted a YouTube video that left all of you wondering where on earth I had run off to, I helped sell a data AI startup in 4 months. So today I'm gonna give you the inside scoop all about Datavolo, a data AI startup that just sold to Snowflake that helped Snowflake get their biggest one-day spike on the stock market ever. I'm Carolyn Holden, I'm back, let's dive in. First, what was Datavolo? Datavolo was a data AI startup that took unstructured files, think audio, video, images, PDFs, or Word documents, or basically anything that's not a CSV file, an Excel sheet, or code, and turned it into structured data, which could then be used on any AI system or data platform. Imagine a university like Yale or Harvard that has been around for hundreds of years. Over the decades, their students and professors have been writing, conducting research on countless studies and projects, many of which were written by hand or on a typewriter or even on the computer. Even if a university like Yale or Harvard had already scanned all of these files or had digital copies, there's never been a super easy way to search through the documents or asking questions like you would an LLM or chatbot, right? So if you wanted to see if one or more of these studies could answer your question, or you wanted to make a chart based off of data from a wide variety of sources, what would you have to do? You know what you would have to do. You would have to go through every single document yourself, read through all of them, find the data, write it down, source it all together, put it all together, maybe make a new chart, maybe use it as a way to answer your question, and spend hours and hours and hours until you got all the information exactly right and hope that you didn't mess anything up in the process, right? But these days, generative AI platforms or LLMs have the ability to do just that, like that, in seconds or just a few minutes, depending on how much data you're going through. But that's only as long as they're going through structured data. See, LLMs, or really any computer system, really struggles with unstructured data because it can't read and understand these types of documents like humans can. And in the case of universities, much like many other types of organizations, they have millions of pages of these PDFs or images or data files that aren't organized in a way that computers can easily understand. Now, AI systems like OpenAI or Anthropic already have retrieval systems called RAG systems that are designed to parse through all of these documents individually to make sure that they can read and understand what all these files are. But what we found at Datavolo was that many large organizations who were interested in breaking into AI had this problem. They had tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of documents that have been put together over the last decades to hundreds of years, but they didn't have an easy way to ingest or convert those files. Especially if you think about organizations that need highly sophisticated systems that cannot mess up, that need the top-notch security, like big banks or medical organizations or governments. This was a big problem, and it made it so that they have been unable to really start to engage in this AI economy. So our founders at Datavolo decided to solve this problem by building a better system to ingest and convert these files in an extremely secure and fast way by building on top of an already existing open source data flow pipeline system called Apache NiFi. And they were uniquely qualified to build this platform on top of NiFi because the founders were the literal inventors of Apache NiFi from back in 2006. But to give you a better idea of what we were working on, let me invite Luke onto the show. So can you tell us a little bit more about Datavolo, what it was, what you were doing, and maybe a little bit about why you started it with Joe?
Yeah. So, it's an interesting time. The ChatGPT came on the scene, and I guess it would be late 2022. And frankly, got really excited. Like the generative AI thing, it really motivated me. It spurred me on. I wanted to be in that space. At the time, I was running marketing at Cloudera, but I decided I want to be in the AI space. And so I was looking for what that meant, what that looked like, where I could make an impact, and happened to start talking to Joe. And Joe was like, "Look, Luke, generative AI is really about how do we harness all this unstructured data." And Joe had created a technology, an open source technology, while he was at the NSA, the National Security Agency, that was built for harnessing unstructured data. And so, I told Joe, I said, look, I've been in this data space for a long time. Data movement, data pipelines is a crowded space. There's, countless vendors in that space, the Fivetrans, the Matillions, Informaticas, Confluence, et cetera. And how are we going to differentiate? And what Joe told me, which really opened my eyes and changed the game, and frankly, the reason we started Datavolo was that none of those companies were built to move arbitrarily large data. And that's what generative AI was all about. So you have all these tools that are really good at moving high volumes of small structured data, but we need to solve a new problem that no one else would solve for, which is how do you move, files, data that are petabytes in size, right? Certainly hundreds of terabytes. And that's what Joe had created an i5 for at the NSA. So we had the right technology. We had the right team. We had Joe, who's, run engineering orgs, has been living in this data movement space for decades. Myself, we've been doing sales and marketing for a long time. So it was just the right time, the right market moment, and the right technology.
The fact that I broke into Datavolo at all is pretty miraculous. My now old boss, Luke, saw one of my YouTube videos on this very channel and decided to ask me if I wanted to come and join the team. And it was easily one of the best choices I've ever made. I would describe my time at Datavolo as intimidating but exhilarating. I was the only marketer on the team and became our de facto head of marketing. I was also one of roughly 10 employees who were the new employees, because the vast majority of people who worked on our team had been working together at various data companies over the last 20 years. So I immediately went to work rebranding the company. One of our biggest issues was determining Datavolo's messaging and building a stronger brand identity. One crucial issue that we worked on was updating our brand colors and how we communicated our brand visually, since a lot of our marketing materials looked extremely similar to our biggest competitor, Unstructured. I recruited a graphic design contractor, my friend Kathy Lynn, to help revamp all of our visuals. We played with colors, adjusted our logos, gave our puppy mascot Lil Volo a makeover, updated our pitch decks, created a few marketing campaigns, and then started but never finished our website redesign. I also collaborated with sales team members like my boss Luke and our developer advocate Lester Martin on trying to determine exactly how to communicate Datavolo's messaging without getting too jargon heavy. All this plus doing social media content, a few videos, some podcast episodes, SEO, paid ads, etc., etc. Then about 3 months in, I was asked to very quickly put together an entire marketing campaign advertising a partnership with Snowflake. We sprinted to finish videos, tutorials, marketing assets for social media platforms, pitch decks, and probably honestly some of my best work to date. It was a lot of work and a few late nights, but I was so excited to be able to work on a partnership and lead the marketing and messaging for a partnership like this with one of the biggest data companies in the world, Snowflake. And then all of a sudden, right before we were going to launch, everything came to a halt, which was a bit confusing, but they told us the launch would be happening sometime soon. And soon after, we learned that Snowflake had decided to acquire us instead of partner with us. Sadly, this meant that I had to say goodbye, as well as a few other team members, but not before discovering that our acquisition announcement helped spike Snowflake's stock market price by 32%, giving them their best one-day rally ever. Apparently, Datavolo got a shout out on Jim Cramer's show on CNBC, which is so cool, but none of us ever got to see it. It was issued live, and we've never found a video about that announcement on YouTube. So if any of you guys know how to find it and could send it to me, I would love to send it to the team. I think they would love to see it. Luckily, I had a little bit of equity in the company, so I'm doing fine for now, but it was also really, really sweet to hear Luke say this. So looking back, is there anything that you wish you knew on day one? Or maybe alternatively, is there anything that you wish you had done that you were never able to do?
Oh, it's a great question. I mean, it's hard to say because it was really only a year,
I
right?
know.
But we so much of work and so much of life is really about the people that you surround yourself with. And so I consider myself very fortunate to have had a founding team, folks like yourself, that was just a pleasure to work with, and that we could do great work because we hired great people, super talented people, but also people that are a pleasure to spend time with and to talk to and hang out with. And so really, really thankful that we were able to do this journey with people that we enjoy, that we like, that were very talented, that could raise the bar and do incredible things. Uh, I don't have a lot of things that we would do different or lessons learned because, frankly, we were very fortunate. We had the right team, right tech, right place, right market, right founders, right acquirer, right. We had the right investors. We had a lot of things went right for us, which that doesn't happen for all startups. But very blessed to be in the situation that we were in.
Overall, and I started saying this a few weeks before I learned that Datavolo was going to be acquired by Snowflake, but I honestly think that Datavolo was the best job that I've ever had. I don't know that I've ever been in an environment that was quite like this, where I was really able to rise to the challenge with such a stellar team and really cutting edge technology. And now I'm still trying to figure out what's next. Am I a marketer or a product person or sales, or am I a YouTuber? Over the years, I've worked in all of these disciplines, and at this point, I'm not really sure what that makes me anymore. Though if you have any opinions, I would love to hear them in the comments down below. But seriously, who am I? What am I? When am I gonna stop having existential crises every time that I go to job hunt? Because honestly, this is getting exhausting, guys. But overall, Luke and Joe, if you're watching this, I can't thank you enough for taking me on this wild roller coaster ride. Make sure to call me the next time you decide to start another company. And this time, I'll be taking more equity ahead of time, please. Thank you so much for watching, and apologies for vanishing on all of you guys, all of my lovely viewers who clearly have been waiting patiently for my return, obviously. But in case you don't know me and this is the first video of mine that you've ever seen, hi, my name is Carolyn Holden, and this show is called Swift Start Go, and it's where I talk about AI, what's happening in the world, and soon, what cool new tools and stuff that we can try, and what use cases that you guys maybe have never explored, with a little bit of a comedic twist. So get excited. Because the reality is, while I may not personally know what's next in my career, the one thing I do know is I am going all in on Swift Start Go. That means more videos on this YouTube channel. That means a brand new podcast that I started this past Monday. And that also means an email newsletter that I started this past Tuesday. So if you want to see what I'm up to next, please make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and ring that bell. And also make sure to go in the description below and sign up for my Substack. It's free, and I'm going to post all of my updates there. I'm also posting a lot on LinkedIn these days, so feel free to follow me there as well. Let me know if you guys have any other questions below in the comments about, I don't know, being a part of an AI startup, selling an AI startup, and being part of that world. Seriously, would love to hear from you guys. Thanks so much. Bye.